Hey, Battle Bill, here with another video, getting some more Season 12 Go Battle League battles, these taking place in the Premier Classic Master League meta. In today's video, I have the team to counter the current meta of Master League Premier Classic. If you don't know, it's all level 40 mons, no legendaries meta in the Master League, and essentially a lot of the meta has formed heavily around this Gyarados Togekiss core. Regardless of whatever the exact reason is, I've been seeing this core all over the place, and I guess it's because of the emergence of how good Excadrill is against a majority of the meta that this core is just feeling comfortable being around, scaring away our main feature for today, Magnezone. Now, because that core is everywhere, we had to make sure we built the team around it that covered its main weakness in this meta, which being Excadrill. So we have Magnezone in the lead, Garchomp with Dragon Tail on the save swap, and Gyarados with Waterfall, and we are going Togekiss Gyarados hunting. Let's see how many we can find in this video. And as always, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe as we jump into these battles, because I had a lot of success with this team, and with the way the current meta is in the Master Premier Classic, I highly recommend this team comp. So getting into this first matchup, we did not catch a Togekiss lead. A lot of the teams I've been running into have been Togekiss lead with Gyarados in the back. It's actually a ridiculous score, really just putting a complete disrespect on Magnezone's name. So we're here to set the tone correctly and make sure everybody knows that Magnezone is still around. So we save swap into Garchomp after we've thrown a wild charge at the Snorlax. They don't recognize we have Dragon Tail, so they swap into their Dragonite, and based on the fact that they threw a Dragon Claw, we shielded it. Crap, I already forgot because I was so sidetracked giving my other commentary. But regardless, we were able to Dragon Tail down before they got to another move. We end up getting switch advantage, which is huge, and we're going to get to a Sand Tomb, which will do some good chip damage and potentially allow us to farm the Snorlax. It gets the Snorlax low. We get a couple Dragon Tails through. They lick us all the way down. We don't want to go into Magnezone here because we're at a shield disadvantage, and we do not want the superpower to land on us, so we have to go into Gyarados. We want to commit to a Waterfall farm down, and our opponent decides to top left. I'm assuming that means we've hunted and found our Excadrill, and we're making sure that Magnezone can roam freely and have success in this meta. So bye-bye Excadrill number one that's hiding in the back. Getting into the next matchup, we have another negative lead, save swapping into Gyarados, and our opponent makes a huge misplay. As you'll notice, my elo is currently at the 2477, and I was able to hit Expert in Master Premier Classic. I was running a team I had a lot of success with, wanted to get out a video on that. The meta adjusted, and as that happened, I scrambled, kind of tanked, ran a little Open Masters too, tanked a bit more, had a bunch of lag during Go Battle Day. That's neither here nor there. Elo's lower than Expert, as you can clearly tell, and then I had to make a call on the current meta, and this was it, and this team allowed me to have a lot of success climbing my way back up to the Expert rank. We're able to essentially flip switch because of their bad save swap. We're going to throw a crunch at their Haxorus. It's going to do about half of itself. They really can't commit to a counter down, so they're forced to throw a charge move here. We are going to let it come through because we flip switch. We now can comfortably come in with our Garchomp to Dragon Tail down. We're going to even let a Dragon Tail or Dragon Claw come through if they decide to throw, and their last mon is Magnezone, so they must have misclicked going into Gyarados. Huge misplay, but the catch there is the two shield scenario, Gyarados can actually potentially beat Magnezone depending on how you play it. Getting to this next lead, we finally caught one of the two mons we're focused on in this main meta core of Magnezone, Togekiss and Gyarados, and it's a Gyarados lead actually, not a Togekiss lead, and you'll notice it's staying in and it's Dragon Breath, so they're not in a great position here. So we're throwing a wild charge after we've overfarmed a bunch, and we're looking to swap out immediately, but I make a bit of a misplay because I'm not sure what to expect. We essentially get out with the energy. Thankfully, we then match the Excadrill with their Gyarados, and we're assuming there is a Togekiss in the back, so we are comfortably going into Gyarados here, no matter what their mon is essentially, because we want to lure the Togi out, keep it away from our Garchomp, and we were just able to get a little bit of extra damage on the Excadrill, so that was a positive in itself. So we're sitting good, even though we're at a shield disadvantage. We're going to throw another Aqua Tail at the Togekiss. We're going to get that shield back, and they're going to essentially commit to a Charm Down, which we don't really mind. We have energy on Magnezone, we win CMP, so we're going to come in Magnezone, throw a Mirror Shot, see if they think it's worth the shield, or we're going to take out their Togekiss, wait out the switch timer, and then go into Garchomp to match their Excadrill. We get off the Mirror Shot here. Let's see what they decide to do. They decide not to shield, so we're immediately clicking the Garchomp. And at this point, because of the waterfall damage that we dealt, even with Dragon Tail, we're in a very positive situation, and we're going to win that match. The opponent decides to top left, so GG's to that opponent. Getting to the next matchup, we have a Magnezone on a Togekiss lead. Now watch what happens. Why? Why is a Charmer saying it's a Steel type? I wonder, because it's that super infamous, mega popular Master Premier Classic core of Togekiss Gyarados. There's got to be a Gyarados hiding in the back. I mean, there's a couple of things that could be hiding in the back that's weak to Magnezone also, but they essentially let us one-shot their Togi, and we're not going to stay in and let their Swampert come in and mud shots all the way down. We're not stupid. We can barely do any damage with Magnezone against Swampert as it is, and surprise, look at that. It's a whole Gyarados. So I guess they want to eat some of our energy. I can't remember. I don't think I shielded anything. No, I didn't. So they wanted to eat some of our energy and then go into their Gyarados. Maybe they were still trying to figure out why I swapped the way that I did, but they should have just came in immediately with Gyarados, especially because it's Dragon Breath, and obviously you want to keep the Gyarados away from the Magnezone. But right now, we're sitting super comfortably. We're going to come in Magnezone. Even with any of the energy they farmed up with their Dragon Breath, we can let come through. Honestly, even if they somehow had 2 Aqua Tails to take us out, we can let that come through also. We commit to a Spark down. We go into Gyarados. Oh no, we throw the Mirror Shot for the potential attack debuff, but Gyarados is going to beat Swampert in the 2 shields. So this is essentially GG's for this match, on top of the fact that they gave us a shield and their Swampert's at half health. They decide the top left. You love to see it. Found exactly what we're looking for, and you see how well Magnezone can pop off in that situation. Now, of course, Magnezone's not perfect. You're going to run into some hard counters. Could run into an Excadrill lead. Could run into a Garchomp lead. Could also run into a Mamoswine lead, and this team does get core broken by Mamoswine. The best way to play this situation out when running into it, because obviously Garchomp's also weak to Mamo, and Gyarados with Waterfall is an answer, but not like the most amazing answer in the world, is just stay in, throw a bunch of Mirror Shots, do as much damage and chip damage as you can, maybe get a debuff in there, hope they decide to make a mistake and throw a Avalanche. That wouldn't take us out. They decide to throw a Bulldoze. We don't mind. We play out the 0. Mamoswine got some extra energy, but it's almost practically dead also. So we're coming in with Gyarados, trying to Waterfall all the way down. They do get to an Avalanche here. At the very least, they're attack debuffed, which is huge. So this Avalanche won't do as much damage as it would typically do. So we Waterfall down. They come into Snorlax, and we're trying to figure out what their last Mon could potentially be. Now, in my mind, I'm thinking that it's some sort of Steel type. I feel like the core of Mamoswine and Snorlax needs a Steel type in the back, specifically a Metagross, because you don't want to be triple weak to fighting. We essentially let the Snorlax take us out, and we hope that we can come in with the Garchomp relatively comfortably and farm as much as possible for that potential Steel type in the back. We're committing to the Dragon Tails down, and they come in with a Metagross. I built all the way up to the Earth Power, and I throw the Sand Tomb, and here is my Luzcon. Boom. They call the bait. Huge play on their end. It's literally their win con, because if they decide to shield the first one, I get to a 3rd Sand Tomb. That takes out their Metagross. I Dragon Tail down their Snorlax. I win the match. If I land that Earth Power, I take out their Metagross, Dragon Tail down their Snorlax again, and win the match. And they made the most optimal play. So even though I essentially lost lead and the swap wasn't great considering the disadvantage I was at, I ended up losing there with 2 shields and had a win con if I made the right judgment call, and unfortunately was not able to. Getting to this next matchup, another terrible lead. We have Excadrill against our Magnezone. The save swap here is Garchomp, and we don't mind a Garchomp save swap because a lot of these Excadrills are running with Snorlaxes, but even if they're running with Togekisses, that's totally fine. We want we want to lure that out. We want to let our Garchomp get charmed all the way down so that Magnezone can get a bunch of energy. We don't get switch, and it's still kind of lined up with the Excadrill, but we can hopefully sneak in some Mirror Shot damage, land a Waterfall from Gyarados, chip away at the Excadrill, and see whatever their last Mon is. But regardless, we have a Snorlax here, and we're able to flip switch just based on that alone. Garchomp beats a lot of things on the swap as long as they're not a fairy type, and as you see, it just happened there. And then their last Mon is Venusaur, and I've been hearing from my Twitch chat, I don't know if they're memeing on me, but apparently there's a couple top trainers that are winning and hitting legend with Venusaur. I'm not going to say there's many. Venusaur, in my mind, is not the meta pick for Master League Premier Classic, but I respect it regardless. The switch flip is huge, though. We have a shield advantage. Venu's practically dead. We're going to come in with the Magnezone and resist almost all the damage they throw, or literally all the damage they throw. They come in with their Excadrill, and this is GG, because we had the hard answer for Excadrill right here in the form of our Waterfall Gyarados. They throw a Rock Slide. We know we can tank one, so we decide to let it come through. We're going to commit to a full Waterfall down. We're going to shield this next move, commit to it, and commit to the Waterfall down, and then spam as many charge moves onto the Venusaur as we can until they decide the top left. Actually, I forgot how low they were. I really should have thrown Aqua Tail here. I decided to throw a Crunch because technically this would take out the remaining health. Aqua Tail wouldn't. Semantics. We win regardless. We have a fully healthy Magnezone on the back. GG's to our opponent there. Getting into the next matchup, look what we caught lacking. Another Togekiss. This opponent decides to swap though. This opponent may not have the Togi Gyarados core, so they don't feel too terrible coming into a and growth. Yeah, I ran into a couple grass types in Mass League Premier Classic. The shout outs to my opponents. I highly respect it. But at this point, we're sitting comfortably. The Dragon Tails eat away. The Sand Tombs debuff the defense, assist the Dragon Tails. We build all the way up to the Earth Power to essentially bait them into wanting to shield, and we get that. We get off another Sand Tomb here. They decide not to shield that one. We're going to commit to a Dragon Tail down. We're going to give up a shield here. As much as Tangrowth has Vine Whip, and it's quite spammy, the Power Whips cannot come out fast enough, and we're able to Dragon Tail down. That Togekiss is going to come in, charm us all the way down, but we're sitting in a good spot because our Magnezone is still aligned. Oh no, they come with the Excadrill, which is another weird play, but I guess they felt like the energy that they would have gotten from Togi would have been worth it, so they got some energy in Excadrill and made a really good catch there. I got to give them props. And now we come in with our Magnezone lined up comfortably against the Togekiss, but now our switch clocks are in an awkward spot, and their Excadrill has a little bit of extra energy. So we build up to this. We throw a Wild Charge because we want to debuff ourselves so that they can get less farm. Then our opponent makes a mistake here and throws their energy right away. So this is a huge misplay on their part. They should have tried some form of over farming, but the thing is, I win this match no matter what, because you can only build up to so much energy. Even if they left that situation with exactly 100, they throw a Rock Slide or Gyarados, we shield the Rock Slide, they still have to build all the way up to another Rock Slide before we're able to Waterfall them down, and we would have been able to Waterfall down in time. Into this next matchup, we lost another lead. Magnezone on Excadrill, save swap in the Garchomp, ran into a Fairy. Boom! Throw the Earth Power. That's huge. They let it come through. So this is a Fairy we don't mind going up against because Earth Power hits hard for neutral damage, and the pure fact that they're running Waterfall instead of Charm. If it was Charm, we wouldn't have won this by just committing a shield. Then again, they wouldn't have even gotten to a move. We would have gotten the Earth Power off, but I think they win the Zero Shield and just charm us all the way down. Regardless, though, they're running Waterfall, so that allows us to do what we did, flip switch, which is going to be huge for us, and get a bit of energy to throw at the Gyarados. We then come in with our Magnezone here. We're at a shield disadvantage. We're not really afraid of any of the Gyarados energy that's going to come at us. We need to save one shield for our own Gyarados against our Excadrill that immediately comes back in once they recognize the situation. We can let one come through. We can shield the next. We can shield the first one. Let the next one come through. Regardless our order, we commit to the Waterfall down. And even with their 2 shields, it's not going to be enough for their Gyarados to beat what's left of our Gyarados and our Magnezone. We get a bunch of overfarm here. We're going to throw some Aqua Tails just to start forcing some shields. If they decide not to shield because it's resisted, it does a good enough amount of chip damage. And then we're just able to spark down with our Magnezone. We're going for another Aqua Tail here. This should do one of those 2 things I already said. And then they commit to a Dragon Breath down, which works out for them in this situation because Dragon Breath's better in the Gyarados mirror. But it's not that great in the Magnezone matchup because we resist all the fast moves, but it allowed them to get essentially a decent amount of energy before the Magnezone was able to come back in. We're going to get to a Mirror Shot though, and with the spark damage, we take out their Gyarados, and that is GG's for that match right there. Is that the last match of the collection of battles I had today? That is the last match of the collection of battles. I went on quite the tear. I started at 2477 and was able to get my elo all the way back up to the mid 2600s level. I think I'm around like 2649 right now. I highly recommend this team. I highly recommend getting on it ASAP. The meta is flooded with Togekiss Gyarados cores, at least around the elo I was at, but I tracked over 100 elo in one day with this team, so I was in a few different elo ranges. Let me know your thoughts on the team comp. This is honestly a relatively OG team to the Master League Premier Classic meta, like back seasons ago. You definitely could have ran this team in the past. I highly recommend it now. Give me your thoughts as always, and let me know what your thoughts on the battles were too. Thank you so much for watching. Please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. It really means a lot to the channel. It helps support it in ways you could not understand, considering, you know, channel's relatively dead. We're trying to resuscitate and revive. Hopefully I can get back on consistent YouTube content. Regardless, I digress. Thank you again. I will see you all in the next video. Preach.